Have you ever just stopped and noticed that voice in your head? You know the one. It never really goes quiet, a constant chatter of thoughts and worries and plans. Eckhart Tolle calls this a dreadful affliction, and yet it's something almost every single one of us lives with. So how on earth do we find any silence in all that noise?
Well, that very question is right at the heart of one of the most powerful spiritual books of our time, Eckhart Tolle's The Power of Now. And today we're going to gently unpack its core teachings, which really offer a direct path out of that inner chaos.
The central promise of the book is so profound, but also beautifully simple. It says the root of our pain isn't what's happening in our lives. It's our mind's obsession with what's already happened and what might happen next. The key to real freedom, to peace, is found in just one place, right here, in the present moment. So, what's the biggest thing standing in our way? Well, according to Tolle, it's a huge case of mistaken identity. See, we think we are our minds, and that single mistake is where all the trouble really begins. Just think about that inner voice for a second. It's always commenting, judging, complaining, worrying. It loves to replay the past and cook up all kinds of disastrous futures. Tolle calls this a tormentor that lives in our heads, and for so many of us, it's our own worst enemy, draining us and causing so much unnecessary misery. Now, Tolle has a very specific name for this tormentor, the ego. And it's not just about being arrogant or selfish. For him, the ego is this kind of phantom self that we build, piece by piece, by unconsciously identifying with that endless stream of thought. It's a mind-made self that we mistake for who we really are. And this brings us to what might be the most important question you could ever ask yourself. Think about it. If you can hear that voice, if you are aware of the thinker, then you can't be the thinker, right? There have to be two of you, the thought and the one who is aware of the thought. So who are you? And right here, this is the first real step toward freedom. It all begins the moment you realize you are not the thinker. You are the spacious awareness behind the thinker. You learn to become a kind of silent watcher, a witnessing presence. This simple shift is the very beginning of waking up. Now, this false mind-made self, this ego, it has a very clever way of surviving. And it's built on something we almost never question, our idea of time. Let's take a look at how our obsession with time actually keeps us trapped. You see, the egoic mind is basically never here. It's always somewhere else. It uses the past to give you an identity, your story, your regrets, your achievements. And then it uses the future to promise you some kind of salvation. That classic thought, I'll finally be happy when. But the present moment, the now, the ego hates it. It sees it as a threat because in the timeless space of now, that mind-made self just dissolves. Tolle even quotes the 13th century mystic Meister Eckhart to really drive this home. By living in what he calls psychological time, constantly lost in memory and what-ifs, we're blocking ourselves from the very aliveness of life itself, which is only ever happening right now. Okay, so if the mind is off creating suffering by living in the past and future, what happens to all that pain? It doesn't just vanish. Tolle explains that it actually builds up inside us and it forms something he calls the pain body. The pain body is basically a residue of every powerful negative emotion you never fully faced and let go of when it happened. It's like this energy field of old, trapped pain that actually lives in your cells, almost like a dormant creature, just waiting for a trigger. And the pain body really has only one mission: to survive. It'll just lie there, dormant, until some little thought or event wakes it up. And then wham, it takes you over. You literally become the pain body. And since it feeds on negative energy, it will actually hijack your thoughts to create more drama and conflict because pain can only feed on more pain. So how do you fight it? Well, the surprising answer is you don't. You don't resist it at all. You just bring the light of your awareness to it. The moment you notice that wave of anger or sadness rising, and you can just observe it impartially without becoming it, the link is broken. The pain body literally can't survive in your conscious presence. This all sounds really profound, but how do we actually do it? In our busy, messy, everyday lives? Well, the book is full of simple, practical ways to bring this from a nice idea into a lived reality. So here's a simple little toolkit we can all use. First, just start listening to that voice in your head like you're listening to someone else talk. No judgment.
Then try to create little gaps in your thinking by focusing on your senses. What do you see right now? What do you hear? You can even turn something routine like washing your hands into a meditation just by being totally present with the sensations. And finally, try to feel the life inside your own body. That inner aliveness is your direct link to the now.
Now, this next practice is radical. Tolle calls it surrender. And it doesn't mean giving up or being passive. It means you stop arguing with what is. You say yes to this moment. When you accept the now completely, you stop creating that inner resistance, which is the real source of our suffering. And from that place of acceptance, any action you take becomes so much more powerful. When you start to consistently practice watching the mind and accepting the present moment, something truly profound starts to shift. You begin to connect with a deeper part of yourself, a state of peace that, believe it or not, was there the whole time. Tolle calls this deeper dimension being. It's the formless, indestructible life energy that's inside you. It's not something you have to go out and find. It's what you are, underneath all the noise of your mind. You can't think your way there. You can only feel it when your mind goes quiet. And here's such a beautiful distinction. True love, joy, and peace, they aren't just emotions that come and go. Emotions are made by the mind, and they always have an opposite, right? Pleasure turns to pain. But these deeper states, they arise from your connection with being. They have no opposite. They are simply who you are at your core. Ultimately, every single page of this book, every teaching, points back to this one simple, inescapable truth. Your entire life, it only ever unfolds in the now. The past is just a memory. The future is just a thought. The only place where life is actually real is this very moment. And that's really the final instruction. It's more than a suggestion. It's an invitation to end your own suffering and rediscover the peace that is your true nature. So the question isn't how to get there someday. The only real question is, can you be here fully now?